Oh, is my thing plugged in? Why can I cannot talk. I've literally been doing YouTube for so long. Why does this feel so weird? For some reason, it just feels so weird, like talking to my camera right now. Ooh, I need to snap out of it. Okay. Hello reader friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm feeling a little bit unhinged today, if you can't tell. In today's video, we will be talking about all the books that I want to read in August. And if you saw by the title, I am doing my TBR jar for my August reads, but with a little twist. I recently posted this little poll on my YouTube and my Instagram saying, what would you like to see me do for my TBR video in August? And my two choices were the normal like TBR jar and reading out of my comfort zone for a month. Reading out of my comfort zone for a month won by a little bit, but a lot of you kept saying like do both, and I'm like, okay, how can I do both? So I'm going to try my hardest to do my TBR jar prompts, but only picking books that are out of my comfort zone from these prompts, if that makes sense. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know how successful this is going to be, but I'm going to try my hardest. August is going to be a very, very crazy and busy month for me because A, I'm getting married. I still cannot believe I'm saying that out loud. I am getting married at the end of August, but up until that point, I have a lot of things to do. I have a lot of planning to do. I have a lot of preparing to do because right after that, we also go on our honeymoon. So there is just so much going on. I don't know how many books I'm actually going to be able to read because I do really want to be like very present in this time of my life, and I just don't even know if I'm going to have a whole lot of time to read, but I'm going to try my hardest. But with that, I'm only going to pick, I think, 5 prompts because I also had a few books that I wanted to read anyway that I still will be talking about in this TBR video. I had this really fun idea to read only wedding themed books around my wedding week. I did also just go on my bachelorette trip, and I started a book by Lucy Clark called One of the Girls, and that is about a group of girls that are on a bachelorette trip, and I just had so much fun reading a book that was themed around something that I was also doing like in real life at the same time. So that was just like so much fun. So I was like, you know what, might as well just keep that like theme going. So with that said, the first book that I will be reading that is wedding themed is going to be The Wedding People by Alison Espach. I think it's Espach. But this is also from today's sponsor, which is Book of the Month. And Book of the Month is an online book subscription box with a mission to bring the best new fiction forward. Their team vets through hundreds of titles from new and emerging authors as well as some like well-known authors already, and creates a curated selection of books for us to then choose from. Each month you can pick from their selection of early and new release titles of either hardbacks or audiobooks, and each month it shows up at your door in this cute little blue box, so it's literally like Christmas every single month. And it also comes with a little bookmark so you can keep your pages nice and crease-free. They also have the best price for new hardcover fiction. This month you can get your first book for $9.99 with code FIREFLY. For August picks, I got The Wedding People because like I just said, I really wanted to read like wedding themed books around my wedding week. So this was like the perfect timing for this book. Then I also chose A Sorceress Comes to Call, and this is by T. Kingfisher. I haven't read any of their books yet, but I do have a couple that are on my Kindle, and this one just sounded really intriguing, and this one is another one that is like out of my comfort zone that I thought would be really, really fun to read in fall. Little synopsis says Cordelia knows her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms, there are no secrets in this house, and her mother doesn't allow Cordelia to have a single friend, unless you count Falada. I hope I'm saying that right. Her mother's beautiful white horse. The only time Cordelia feels truly free is on her daily rides with him. But more than simple eccentricity sets her mother apart. Other mothers don't force their daughters to be silent and motionless for hours, sometimes days on end. Other mothers aren't evil sorcerers. When her mother unexpectedly moves them into the manor home of a wealthy older squire and his kind but keen-eyed sister, Hester, Cordelia knows this welcoming pair are to be her mother's next victims. But Cordelia feels at home for the very first time among these people, and as her mother's plans darken, she must decide how to face the woman who raised her to save the people who have become like family. It just looks so sweet, honestly. It looks a little bit spooky, but in an oddly beautiful way. Thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. I'm so excited to read these books, and let's get into the rest of my TBR. So, like I said, I am going to only pick 5 prompts. I just picked a group of them. Okay, the first one that we have is a book you recently bought. Ooh. So I've actually been on a book buying ban for a while now because I'm going on a trip in the beginning of August that I know that I'm going to be buying a lot of books on. So I wanted to wait a while for that. So instead of a book that I recently bought, I think I'm going to tweak this a little bit and do a book that I recently got from the library, and that is The Ministry of Time. And this is one that is actually out of my comfort zone, so it does count for TBR jar and books that are out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is usually mystery thrillers, rom-coms, and like YA fantasy. And this, I believe, is technically considered like, I think it's pretty genre bending because this one reads a little bit like fiction, it reads a little bit like sci-fi, it reads a little bit like romance. So this is definitely one that I wouldn't normally pick up, but if you saw my most recent video, I think it was my most recent video, I did pick this one up at the library because I have been seeing it a lot on BookTube and Bookstagram. The top says, an ingeniously imagined hilarious romp through time, space, and the human heart that announces an exhilarating new voice in contemporary fiction. Okay, so yeah, it's like technically contemporary fiction, which is not something that I normally pick up. So the next TBR prompt that we have is book by a BIPOC author. Oh, I just got some at the library. So for this one, I actually have two that I just recently got at the library. And the first one is Happily Ever Afters by Elise Bryant. And the next one is The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. I don't know which one I want to pick because these are both on my priority TBR. Although I will say I got this one first, and this is one that I really have been wanting to read because it just sounds, I mean, they both sound really like cute and fluffy, but this one specifically, I don't know what it is, but I just have a huge love for like YA, like little YA romances, and this is what that is. It's just a cute little YA romance, so I think I'm gonna go with this one. I went over the synopsis in my most recent video, but just to give a little insight on like what it's about, it follows our main character, what is her name, Tessa. She like longs to be a writer pretty much, and so she goes to this camp. I think it's like a creative writing type of camp, and once she gets there, the words are just gone. Like she can't really like make up any stories, like she can't really write. She's having a hard time like creating the story. So one of her really good friends just says that she needs some inspiration, like some little romance inspiration. So I believe she kind of starts to like try and have a little romance with this one guy, but she ends up developing a really sweet relationship with another boy named Sam. So this last little sentence says she's on her way to having her own real life love story, but is it the one she wants after all? So it just sounds really, really cute. It sounds so cozy and wholesome, and I think I'm going to love it. The next prompt for August is going to be a book with a pretty cover. I'm getting a lot of good prompts this time. So for this one, I think I'm going to pick Anne of Green Gables because I am wanting to film a video where I read classics for the first time, and this is one of the ones that I guess I actually just did buy this one. So I could have used this for a book that I most recently bought. I forgot that I got this one. But anyway, yeah, I want to do a video where I read classics for the first time, and this is the one that I feel like I would just enjoy the most, and I've heard a lot of really good things about. I feel like it really matches my vibe, and when people like describe this book, it feels very me, you know? So I don't know, I thought this would be fun. To be completely honest, I don't really know what this is about. All I know is it follows our main character named Anne, and she's an orphan, I believe. Okie dokie though, the next prompt that we have is going to be magical realism. Ah! Oh my goodness gracious. Is this one considered? I have one in mind, but I don't know if it's considered magical realism or not. I need to go look at Goodreads and see what that says. I feel like it is magical realism, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, yes it is! Okay, so the book that I had in mind is Lonely Castle in the Mirror. This one is one that is out of my comfort zone. Oh, also, Anne of Green Gables is also out of my comfort zone because it's a classic and I don't read classics. So, I'm doing good! And this one is out of my comfort zone because it is a contemporary fiction, literary fiction. It's like a fiction fantasy, but it's also, something I thought was really cool is it's Japanese literature, so it's a translated fiction. And that kind of follows along my desires to read more like diversity and like include more diversity in my reading, because I realized that I don't really read a whole lot of translated fiction. So that is one thing that I really wanted to incorporate more in my channel. And I've heard really, really good things about this book. I'm just gonna read the synopsis because I genuinely don't even know how to like explain what this book is about. It says, in a neighborhood in Tokyo, 7 young people wake up to find their bedroom mirrors shining. Placing their palms on the surface, they are pulled through into a wondrous castle where they encounter not only each other, but also their taskmaster, a bossy young girl in a mask named Wolf Queen. Though they don't know it yet, they all have one thing in common. Eager to uncover the secrets of the castle while keeping their own, their time here will not be without glitches. For a start, each day they must leave by 5 o'clock or face a terrifying penalty. They must all hunt for a key that will grant only one wish. They must tell no one about their experience. As they struggle to abide by the rules of the game and each other's emotional boundaries, a moving story unfolds of 7 characters trapped in a cycle of misunderstanding and loneliness, who are ultimately set free by the power of friendship, empathy, and sacrifice. I feel like I'm actually gonna cry in this book. I have been really wanting to like broaden my reading genres, I guess. Wait, that was terrifying. I like literally just heard someone knock at my door. And there's no one here. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. But anyway, yeah, that's just out of my comfort zone, and I've been really wanting to read more like contemporary fiction, literary fiction, translated fiction, just things that really like get me out of my comfort zone. I feel like there's a whole world of things out there that I could be reading right now, and I always just go back to what I'm used to, you know, and I just don't want to do that. So I'm gonna pick one more prompt, and that is going to be, they're stuck together, written by my favorite author. This one's hard because I don't feel like I have, oh, actually that's a lie. I do have Little White Lies by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This one has been on previous monthly TBRs, but I never got to it, so I think this might be the month that I do so. The Little White Lies follows our main character Sawyer, and it's just Sawyer and her mom. Her dad is like she never knew her dad. She's a little bit, I think, like estranged from her family, and then one day her grandmother shows up and offers her like a buttload of money to participate in debutante season. So the last little sentence says, set in the world of debutante balls, great estates, and rolling green hills, Little White Lies combines a charming setting, a classic fish out of water story, and the sort of layered mystery only author Jennifer Lynn Barnes can pull off. There's lots of family secrets, not only her family secrets, but I believe other debutantes' family secrets. So it's just a lot of drama. It's just a lot of mystery, and I'm all for it. I love Jennifer Lynn Barnes. She is one of my favorite authors, obviously, and I just eat up everything that she writes, so I'm very much looking forward to this one. And this one is in my comfort zone, so I have a few books that are not going to be part of the TBR jar that I just wanted to add to my TBR. The first one is Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. This one is obviously a wedding themed book, so it's one of the ones I'll be reading during my wedding week or during my honeymoon week, just sometime in August. This one is pretty much about like two wedding crashers. People hire them to like object at their weddings, and then they obviously fall in love, or like, so, I don't know, they end up like getting together. So I have heard mixed reviews about this one, but I just thought it would be fun to read because of the theme, so I'm adding it to this one's TBR. And then the last book that I want to read in August is The Lost Bookshop. This one I actually started on my Kindle, but then I started another book, and so I wanted to finish that book before I started this book. In The Lost Bookshop, I believe it follows like a group of people. I think it's like maybe 4 different people. And the little synopsis says, on a quiet street in Dublin, a lost bookshop is waiting to be found. For too long, Opaline, Martha, and Henry have been the side characters in their own lives. But when a vanishing bookshop casts its spell, these 3 unsuspecting strangers will discover that their own stories are every bit as extraordinary as the ones found in the pages of their beloved books. And by unlocking the secrets of the shelves, they find themselves transported into a world of wonder where nothing is as it seems. So it follows 3 characters, not 4. This one I believe is a little bit genre bending. It is kind of out of my comfort zone too, because I don't normally read like slower fictions or like historical fiction, and this is kind of that. But Goodreads says that it's a fantasy, fiction, historical fiction, magical realism, romance, mystery, contemporary, and like a few other little things. And it's definitely not one that falls within my comfort zone categories. So I am branching out quite a bit in August, and I'm honestly so excited for it. I feel like a lot of these books could potentially be some of my new favorites. Thank you again to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to use the link down below to get your first Book of the Month book for $9.99 with code FIREFLY. I love you guys so much. I'm going to try and stick to my normal like uploading schedule for August, but I will say I will be taking like a 2-week break. I'll try to schedule it out to where like a video will still go out each week, but if I don't get a video out for one of the weeks at the end of August, I sincerely apologize, but I will be out and I will not feel bad about it. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah.